All right, guys.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Josh and Leo's over here. We're about to talk about the Texans. Make sure you like, sub, share, subscribe, do everything. Send us comments. Let us know what you guys think. We're gonna try to pick it back up this offseason with how exciting it's gonna be. Today we're gonna do more focused on the Texans. We did a little bit ago. We did our Saints focus pod. You guys can check that out. It's fun to see these two different teams kind of in different places, but it's kind of in kind of not really in the same place as that all actually. I don't know what I'm saying. But anyway, Leo, let's just take it away. Tell me what you're thinking about. What was your thoughts on how the year ended up? I know we kind of picked it as kind of a 2-win, 3-win kind of year where they kind of got through it, hopefully got some evaluations done on younger players. What was your evaluation of what went down this first year as a Texans fan?
Man, honestly, I could say that I think it went better than I thought. You know what I mean? I think that I didn't see them firing Cully after 1 year, you know, but I knew that when they hired him, it seemed like a hire that it was just a placeholder type hire.
Yeah, a
So,
babysitting role, kind
yeah,
of a
yeah,
temporary thing, unless he showed like some amazing
yeah,
like
yeah. And he did, and he
Disney
did
Channel
not.
stuff.
And
Yeah,
he didn't show that. So and there seem to be a lot of great people for hire now. I don't think anyone saw Brian Flores being available at the end of the year. It seems like Jared Mayo, who they're really high on, is available, and you know, other teams are interested in him. So I mean, if these are your guys, then I think it makes sense to do what you have to do and fire them and move on. And they've interviewed a pretty good amount of people. So that's the first thing I think we should address. The head coaching role, and I think the how they have to get someone that him and Easterby kind of see the game alike, have a really good relationship, and you know that I feel like that's one of the main things moving forward. I think if we get the head coaching right to where it's like it's a really they have really good chemistry between him and Casario, and then just even moving on past that between the coordinators and position coaches, if we could get some type of just real good communication and chemistry, that would easily be one of the most impressive and important parts of the rebuild. So that's the first thing I want to address. Second thing, Davis Mills. I think Davis Mills. There's a lot of fans that think he sucks and all kind of bullshit about him. And uh, me and Josh, we talked a lot about him early in the year. I mean, when they draft, really before a draft. Because
yeah.
there was
I
even
think we did
talk.
a pod about how much we loved him as a prospect.
Yeah,
He was kind of our one of our guys.
and they talk. There was even people talking about him possibly going in the first round, second round, and then we get
Yeah,
him in
late
the third
first,
round.
early second. Yeah,
We get him in the third round. He definitely is a first round talent, regardless of what It seems like the people that go hardest on him are the Texans fans, regardless of what y'all say. He didn't play that much football, and he came in. He didn't play that much football in college. He came in and was thrust into a situation nobody thought that Tyrod Taylor would be hurt in the middle of the second game, and you have this rookie that really hasn't damn near played in a damn year. You know, I mean, played only 11 college games thrown in there against for the Miles Garrett and Clowney and that defense, and of course he struggled. I don't understand why people thought that he would come in and just be some world beater in that kind of situation. He struggled early on. Um, we were losing, and you know, over throughout the year, he ended up, performing very, very well. He ended up being one of the best quarterbacks in the red zone in the whole NFL. Ended up, having some very, very good performances against New England. He played well against, he struggled early throughout the game, and against the Rams. Showed up late, showed that he could make plays. Whether it was against the second team or not, he made throws. And then I think he won the job over for the next year by how he finished the year. Where I thought he played really, really phenomenal. I thought he played really, really good against Tennessee. And I mean, that said, and I mean, he wasn't like he was put into a great situation because, like I said, they were, the talent on the team. Second of all, you got, I mean, Tim Kelly, however y'all feel about him. I mean, and then, they weren't really letting him throw the ball downfield. I think if there was any kind of situation they felt risky, they would just kind of we're going to run a screen pass. It's 3rd and 8, 3rd and 5. Let's just run the screen. We don't want you to throw a pick. I don't think that's how that's not how whatever. That wasn't good to me, and I think
that's not how you develop a quarterback and
exactly.
instill that kind of trust in him. Yeah.
But I think that when he's given more and more opportunities, he has proven that he can play the game. So I don't think that there is a rush to get a new quarterback. I don't think that there is at this point, he played so well to me that even if Deshaun wanted to come back, I would still probably trade him, just because of we won 4 games with you and we won 4 games without you. So, I mean, bye, Yeah. That's probably gonna piss some people off, but fuck it. I mean, it is what it is,
Yeah, I think at this point you can't let a guy like that back. I'll let you keep going because I know this is your squad. But
no.
When you get a situation like he's in, where he's basically said, "I don't want to play here anymore," no matter who you bring in, there's been articles put out that him and Flores are talking about. Oh, if Flores comes to Houston, is he going to come back and all that? Is everything going to be forgiven? I think if they do that, I think Cassari loses a lot of, I don't know how to say this, but a lot of, not really matters, but a lot of influence in the locker room, a lot of respect. Because you can't have a guy that basically quits on the team, forcing a rookie quarterback to come in to cover his ass. Because think about it, when Tyrod went down, he could have easily said, all right, guys, I'm willing to play. Even if they don't want to put him in, I'm willing to play to help out the team. I know that you guys are still going to trade me, but I'm under contract, blah, blah, blah. That would have been the more professional approach to it. And I know it's kind of a mess with all the legal stuff going on, and that's a whole different element to it. And that all needs to be resolved. But he was never on an exempt list. He's never been on anything where that would limit him from playing. So it's just like any other football player that's going through legal things off the field, even though it's what he went through and what he's been accused of is really crappy and is like the scum of the earth, whatever stuff. But at this point, if he was available, it would have changed the approach going forward. I think you're totally right about Davis Mills. I loved him coming out. I thought he was a late 1st round pick, early 2nd. In my evaluation, and that's only because he didn't have a ton of tape and didn't have a ton of experience. I saw all the tools throwing the ball. He's continued to show that where he can make all the throws on the field. He has a fearlessness and a settled approach in the pocket that you don't really see with a lot of young guys. He just kind of sits there and is very calm and just delivers. I think that's a big reason why he's been elite so far, which is pretty crazy in the red zone, which is where probably the toughest place for a quarterback to play in the whole world is the red zone in the NFL game.
Man, and think about it, man. Throughout the stretch, pretty much through the last 4 games of the year, what rookie quarterback was better than him? It wasn't.
Easily. Yeah.
So I mean, people are talking all this shit about how great Mac Jones is, and I think Mac Jones is a good player, but I mean, Davis Mills outperformed him, and he didn't have Josh McDaniels, and he didn't have Bill Belichick and all that shit. He didn't have a run game, and let's be honest, man. The first thing that we need to address before we address damn near anything else is pretty much the run game, the offensive line. I mean, at this point, bro, Davis Mills came out, played well, without a fucking run game. Some of those games, dude, Burkhead and those guys were averaging 2.5, under 3 yards a carry, man.
Once Ingram got traded away, it kind of fell off the edge. He was kind of providing a little bit of something where he was getting 4 or 5 yards a carry, but he wasn't doing like 10 carries a game kind of thing. So he was giving you something. But as
Mhm.
soon as he left, it kind of fell off. They got rid of Philip Lindsay. It just kind of fell apart. They basically held out Tunzel most of the year. I know you're
Mhm.
probably going to touch on this later, but he's the guy that's probably on the way out. They basically said, you're going to sit down and make sure you get completely healthy for your next team so we can get as much value from you as possible.
Yeah, yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
buddy. Because
yeah.
we whoever gave you that stupid ass contract because you basically had a gun to their head. Well, we're not gonna play that shit. All right. So
Yeah, yeah.
crazy
And
situation with him.
moving forward from that, like I think there's a great point you bring up. So let's talk about Tunsil. I think that you know at this point, it's probably best to trade him. I mean the contract is terrible. You know, like you said, we traded way too much for him in a contract year. It wasn't like we traded that much for him and he was still like well into his rookie deal. We traded that shit for him in a year that he knew that he needed to get or that he needed to get paid, and he took advantage of it. So
Right.
smart, for him, dumb for us. And it is what it is. He's paid like you know, he's paid like a top
He's paid
three
like Trent
tackle.
Williams.
Yeah, but he performs like like it's. I looked at PFF like a while ago because some jackass Texans fans was telling me I was stupid for saying this, but he's grading out pretty much even to this day like what Dwayne Brown is doing. And I mean, so
Yeah.
why are we paying him that much? I mean, send him to a team that needs tackle help. I mean, I think if you're the Bills and you're rolling like how they are right now, and you know that you can improve at tackle, why wouldn't you give up a first for him?
Right. He seems like one of those guys that kind of needs the good players around him to elevate him. Some guys are self starters. I don't really see that with him. I think he's a guy where if he's in a line with a bunch of other guys that are really high level players, he's going to elevate and he's going to be more consistent.
Yeah, yeah.
And you kind of just have to identify that. It was similar to what Clowney was as a defensive end for y'all. When he had really good players around him, he seemed to elevate his game and want to like keep up with everyone.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
a similar prospect.
yeah.
And it's the perfect reason to a selling point of saying, okay, if you're a good team and you need a tackle to solidify your front five and to give you a little more depth by knocking one tackle down or something,
Mm-hmm.
he's a great option. Yeah, yeah. And he's probably not gonna cost you a ton because of how much money he makes.
Exactly.
So some of these teams with a ton of cap space are gonna be probably very interested in looking at it and seeing if they can maybe give more compensation so that the Texans maybe take more of the cap cost. See if there's a negotiation that way. The same way they did with Bradley Roby and the Saints, where they got more compensation. I think they got a third round pick because they kind of took more of the cap hit away from the Saints.
And I think, man, Titus Howard has played well. He's played better at tackle than at guard, apparently. So I think, why not just move him to the left side? And, if Neal is available, I think Neal is the pick.
And it doesn't look like he'll be available, but
I mean, one can hope. I mean, let's hope that, Kayvon.
Let's hope Jacksonville's dumb and they just go pass over him.
Yeah. It depends on who the next guy is and how much they like Kayvon Thibodeau and whether or not they think that Kayvon Thibodeau and Josh Allen can, just destroy games for everybody, for everyone in our division.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But if we get, like I said, if we get Neal, then I mean that doesn't scare me. I don't give a damn. If we get Neal, then fuck it. I mean, I don't give a damn about. I think Josh Allen is good. Kayvon Thibodeau, we'll talk about that later. I know that he's a great talent, but I don't.
We'll talk about all that in the pod. We'll compare we'll go with each position.
I mean, yeah. So I think if Neal is there, he's the pick. If he's not there, I think moving on to okay, receivers. We have Cooks. Cooks played well, man. Cooks is good. Everything. I mean, Nico Collins is good. We need a third guy that can.
And Nico Collins is probably your third guy. You probably need a second guy.
Yeah, true. Yeah. So. I mean, we need to upgrade a receiver. Same thing with tight end, obviously O-line. I think we ride out with Davis Mills. And I think at some point we will draft a running back this year. I think we should draft a running back because, I mean, we have no big play potential from any of the running backs. That's just facts. I don't think you can argue that. So moving on to the defense. Um,
Oh dear.
where do we start? The
I'm
defense
sorry.
is. I think that where do we start? Like, I mean, shit. I mean, cornerback. I get in all these stupid ass arguments with these stupid ass fans that keep saying that, oh, trenches, trenches, trenches. Lovey Smith doesn't need a corner to run his scheme. I mean, well, guess what, guys? I'm sorry, Lovey Smith is a great coach, a great person, it seems, but I mean, if we get Mayo or Flores, he's probably out of there. So we shouldn't marry. You don't marry like unless the coach has proven to be a great coach and in there for the long haul. You don't marry. You don't draft. You draft the best player available.
Right. Yeah, you never draft based on scheme. You only going past. You want to target a prototype that you find acceptable, and you just go from there based on talent, tape, and personality and all that.
Yeah, and I think at this point, man, I'm assuming that if let's say that the two pass rushers is gone, or let's say if Neal is drafted and one of them is there, I think that I mean, I just feel like we're not even going to talk about the draft. Let's just talk about the needs. I mean, cornerback is a very, very big need for us. It always has been. We can't play aggressively outside because we don't have any corners there's no corner that I could just be like, okay, like let's run bump and run man the whole damn game. Even against a team with like lesser receiver talent, I think that corner is probably one of the bigger needs. I think
at this moment, zone's the only option really for this
exactly.
Texans team. Yeah.
And then, I mean, moving forward, safeties, Lonnie Johnson is good. I think Justin Reed is coming. It's a contract year for Justin Reed. I used to think that he was very, very good. He hasn't really taken a step forward. And, I mean, I think he's one of those players like Cunningham and like, McKinney. And I think that, probably moving on. I mean, I think he's one of those guys that I could see if he goes to another team, he plays his ass off. I mean, I could see the Saints picking him up and, and maybe letting Williams go, picking him up, and he just plays his ass off for y'all. He's very versatile.
It seems like he either one needs a fresh place to start over, or two needs to hang around and be kind of utilized in a very different way than he is right now. It seems like his role hasn't been defined in a way that has allowed him to really focus on what he needs to.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I think that he's a guy that can do a lot of different things. He can play center field, he can play nickel, and he could do everything. But I mean, there was points in the year where I don't know if he was hurt, I don't know, but like, man, I mean, he was missing tackles. There was one play I remember clearly against the Seahawks where they ran a deep post straight to the middle of the damn field, and he was playing the middle of the field. And great ball by Russell, but how do you throw a post directly at the post safety and then not and give up a touchdown at the end of the half? Like, is mentally what's going on? He's getting stiff armed by Rashad Penny. Like getting stiff armed for I mean, I understand you last level defense, but I mean, damn, dude. Why? And I think as Texans fans, we have to be realistic here. There's no reason to pay him if he's giving that up. There's no reason to pay a safety that's giving shit like that up. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. So I could see also them trading back, and I could see possibly Hamilton being there and making a difference. Stingley, Sauce Gardner. I think it's time that we really, really address the secondary so that we can get more, like, so that whoever the next defensive coordinator is can get more creative and, actually be able to blitz. Like come up with some. I don't remember the Texans ever really having like real creative like stunts and creative blitzes ever, man. So I think it's time that we put ourselves in a position to where we can rush forward, but we can also do all this extra shit, and we have the back end to that we can trust, so that we could you know do shit like that. And so moving
Yeah.
forward from that, let's address the front seven. I mean, Grenner played well. Blacklock, Blaylock, whatever the fuck his name is, Ross. I think he's a good player. I think that in that draft, that was the draft that we didn't have a first because of Tunsil. He was the first pick in that draft. Can't remember if he was a second or a third. Pretty sure it was a third because I think we traded Cooks for a second.
Yeah.
He never. I mean, he's playing well for where we drafted him. I mean, he's not.
He's a rotational piece at this
Yeah,
point.
he's a rotational piece. Lopez, who was a 6th round pick, I think 5th or 6th round pick in the last draft. He's shown flashes, but we cannot stop the run. We can't stop the
Right.
run. I mean, there's times where it just, I mean, hell, against the Titans the last game, it just seemed like, they were just running straight up their middle, and it was nothing that we could do. Grenard has shown flashes. We need someone that can be on the other side of him, man, that can rush as well and play the run well. So, is that worth, is that should we go defensive line first in the first round? Probably so. I'm assuming that possibly we might have 3 first-round picks. We'll have ours. We'll probably have one when we trade Deshaun Watson, and if we trade Tunsil, I mean, I think that hopefully we could get a late first for Tunsil. So I think, man, I just don't see the point in passing up Stingley, assuming that his foot isn't like foot or ankle, whatever the hell it is, isn't just completely like shredded.
Yeah.
He only,
It's not some chronic this thing that's gonna fuck him up the rest of his career.
yeah. I mean, assuming he's gonna come in, he's gonna be about 6'1", right? I mean, he's gonna be about 205 pounds, I'm guessing. 195 to 205 probably. He's gonna probably come in there and run like a low 4.3, right? Do you think he might be able to run? You think he might be able to run a high 4.2?
I just know he's fast enough to play DB in the NFL.
Yeah,
That's all
yeah,
that matters. He's the same
yeah.
kind of athlete as like Trayvon Diggs is, probably a little better.
No, he's better. He's better. He's
Yeah.
gonna have a 40-inch vertical. His arms are gonna be long as hell.
Yeah, he's a freak. He's the perfect corner as long as the medical issues check out.
Yeah, and I think that honestly, that's probably the safest pick. I mean, not gonna compare Kayvon Thibodeau to any of these guys, but man, if he turns out to be damn Deion Jordan or like another Clowney situation, man, that could really set us back. And Hutchinson, Hutchinson is a good player. He has a good motor, and he seems to be like the emotional and the leader for Michigan. He showed a lot of just leadership. I mean, and he had a good season as well. But I mean, I just think it's time, man. And I just think that if you build a defense to stop the run, and I think there's a lot of different ways that you could do that. I don't think you have to necessarily draft a fucking defensive end to do that. I don't think a defensive end will fix the problems on the defense, because I mean, as you can see, man, I mean, let's look at teams that have great defensive ends that can't stop the run. I mean, Cleveland. I mean, they have the best edge rush in the damn league, but I feel like you have to earn the right to pass rush, and they don't do that, and I think New England and the Saints, teams like that are built like they have the number one corner. They can play aggressive. They can play aggressive, and they could stack the box if they need to. And they know that they know where to help, and they know who they don't have to help. They could leave Marshawn on a I was about to say on a Lattimore. They could leave Marshawn on the island and trust them, and they could get creative with how they rush and how they stop the run. And the same thing with New England for all those years. I know we don't want to be New England South or whatever the fuck y'all say, but a Patriot South, but I mean, it works. Their shit works. So
Especially defensively, you can't question what they do.
yeah. So I mean, I think that cornerback is probably the position that would, I mean, outside of like offensive line and getting helping the run game, which I think Neal would do, and Icky from North Carolina State would do. But I mean, I feel like going cornerback I don't know. So moving forward, I think that it's I honestly, man, I'm probably the most optimistic I've ever been for the future of the team. I think we're gonna hire a good coach. I think we're gonna hire someone that is can be creative. And I think that you know I think we'll be fine. Will we make the playoffs next year? I don't know, but I mean, like, I think that we will improve next year. I think we will be better. And at this point, we trade Watson. We have draft capital. We built the team up, and I think that we can be in the playoffs. 2023. I think that
Right.
we can build one of the better rosters in the NFL based off of moving Deshaun Watson. That's the piece that really, really that has to be done. It has to be done. And I mean, we just need to make sure we get a good coach, man. So
Yeah. I think it's like you said, it's a time where you can be very positive. I think what it comes down to is you can't fall into the trap of really targeting a specific position in the draft at this point.
yeah,
I think you really, and if Stingley's the best guy, you know how much I love Stingley. I think you really have to trust your evaluations and just add you can't really miss. Like, you're going to miss, but you have to take the approach that, okay, I want a good position, good player every time I bring in every position. So even in free agency, you can't think about saying, okay, I need to go out and get a corner now or go out of this and then go out and overpay for a guy that
yeah,
isn't necessarily. There's certain guys that you can overpay for and feel okay. Let's say if you go and get a guy who's younger that you see as a kind of an improving player, an ascending player, then you can kind of, okay, I'm going to pay for future production. That usually happens in free agency anyway, because people's values go crazy, if you don't franchise tag a guy. But it's you're in a great place where with the number 3 pick and whatever other picks you have, is kind of a top heavy draft at the top. So at number 3, you kind of are guaranteed to get a game changer. You just have to make sure you vet these guys and kind of that these guys are flexible enough and like personality. And like you said with KT, whether you like his off the field stuff and all the different things that you look at. But yeah, I think the Texans are in a great place going forward. I think this head coaching hire is huge because I kind of have the thought that Casario, this is his last coaching hire he's going to get, unless it completely goes crazy and something weird happens and he has to fire the guy after 1 year. If that happens, if something weird happens, maybe they give him another hire.
yeah.
I can't even think of what that situation would be. Maybe the guy gets arrested. I don't know. Some crazy shit. Shit is always happening weird in Houston. So we'll see what happens next in the chronicles of the Texans. And it seems like Casario, I just finished listening to a interview he had after he did his press conference a couple of days ago. And he seems to really be looking at all the options in a way that it's kind of should be refreshing. It's not going to be the same guys getting interviewed. As a Texans fans, you got to have patience because it seems like he's not going to rush anything. He's going to go through methodically and kind of overview guys once and twice and may even do 3 interviews with guys before he makes the decision because he knows how important it is and how important, like he talked about, the fusion between him and me and Casario and the head coach has to be, and how they really have to be kind of one brain and kind of have to have the same approach.
Yeah. All right, y'all. So let me know. Let us know how you felt about the year, man. If you made it this far, you might as well like and share and sub. And let us know how you felt as a fan throughout the year, man. And don't come on and just be like, oh, we fucking suck. We're gonna suck forever. Sell the team. Blah 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 blah, man. Let us know how if you're gonna be negative, at least be constructive in some way. You know what I mean? Because I mean, damn, like it's a dumpster fire on Kirby Drive right now, and at this point, it's kind of depressing. So I mean, let's just be as positive as we can. So yeah, man. Like, share, and sub, man. Thank y'all for rocking with us, man.
Yeah, it was a pleasure, and you guys, hope you guys all are staying healthy. Take care, and yeah, we'll see you guys next time.